In this video, we're diving into a topic that has the potential to totally transform your life. This topic is spiritual growth. I'll share with you why spiritual growth is so important, how it can unlock inner peace and joy, and also I'll give you some practical steps to get started on your spiritual growth journey. Hi, I'm Jeff, and I teach practical and spiritual methods for organizing and empowering your life. So let's now talk some more about spiritual growth and why it's key to changing your life. And make sure you stay until the very end, because I'm going to include a few key tips and ways to get started if you aren't already on your spiritual path. So first, what exactly is spiritual growth? Simply put, spiritual growth is the process of connecting with your true self, expanding your consciousness, and ultimately gaining a much deeper understanding of life. It's about moving beyond the surface and discovering a sense of peace and joy within. When we start to grow spiritually, we start to see the world differently. Life becomes more rich and more meaningful because you're living from a place of inner alignment rather than just always chasing external goals. Now, there's nothing wrong with having nice things per se, but the reality is nothing external is ever going to satisfy us long term. That can mean money, that can mean stuff, that can mean relationships. It's wonderful to have all these amazing things in our life. And again, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But how many people have you seen who seem to have everything and yet they're not happy? It's crazy to me. I live in South Florida and there's so much wealth here. There's so many people with so much stuff. But in talking to some people, are they really happy, right? Having the flashy nice car, the latest clothing, having money. No, we all know that there's much more to life than just that. And again, there's nothing wrong with having money or enjoying it or having a nice lifestyle, but ultimately true, lasting inner contentment and happiness and peace, that's not going to come from anything external at all. So now, why is spiritual growth so important for changing your life? Well, when you grow spiritually, everything in your life transforms. Challenges become opportunities for growth, your relationships deepen, and you experience life on a much more fulfilling level. So most importantly, spiritual growth leads to inner peace. You stop being controlled by external things like stresses or fears, and you begin to connect with something much greater inside of you. Whether that's the universe, God, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, you connect with something within you that is much more powerful than anything external. And also you start to live from your soul and not your ego. And that's where true joy and happiness comes in. When you're aligned with your purpose and you're no longer just mindlessly chasing external validation. So how do you start this journey of spiritual growth if you haven't already? So let me share with you a few very simple practices to get started to kickstart your spiritual growth. So first, we have meditation. This is by far one of the most powerful tools for connecting with your inner self and beginning your spiritual journey. Through meditation, what you're doing is you quiet down your mind and you gain so much clarity about things. And it's really hard to describe, but I've gone into really deep meditations where I was in such a relaxed and peaceful state that in some ways it was hard to come back to this reality. And it's not that I don't love the reality I currently have, I do, but you can just travel to such amazing places of peace and tranquility, and you connect with a different and higher part of yourself. And again, it's hard to explain some of these things. It's really about the experience. But I would say that meditation is really the key. There are so many other things you can do, and I'm going to mention a few more now. But by far, just getting started with meditation, even if it's just a simple 5-minute meditation, or something you do on an app on your phone, meditation is really the key to spiritual progress and to getting started. Second, there's mindfulness. Mindfulness is all about being present in the moment. Because when you're present in each moment, it allows you to experience life more fully and consciously and deeply. And it makes every experience richer. You know, in our world today, it's so easy to get distracted. We have so many things competing for our attention on our phone, on our computers, in the office, with family and friends, you name it. We're pulled in so many directions that at times it's hard to just Be focused and centered and be in the present moment. And that's where meditation and then mindfulness are really key, because a lot of the spiritual practice is about being focused and in the present moment. And again, it's difficult because we just have so many demands on our time and are distracted by so many things that are going on. So cultivating mindfulness in your life is really important on a spiritual path. So third, you can start to explore more content on spirituality. The great thing is there are so many resources. There are countless amazing books, so many amazing videos and YouTube channels, specifically on the topic of spirituality, getting started, meditation, etc. If you're interested, I would encourage you to just start with like a book or two and see what resonates with you. That's a really key part of this process. You have to know what resonates with you depending on what stage you're at in this journey. I remember the first book I really read on spirituality. It was, I don't remember the title, but it was a book on Buddhism actually. And this was years and years ago. I was at a Barnes & Noble, and for whatever reason I was browsing and this book just really stood out to me. It was this tiny little white book. I don't remember the title, but it was sort of an overview of Buddhism and meditation, and it was really interesting. That was probably the first book on spirituality I ever bought, and since then I've purchased countless others, but that was the first one. And that got me started on my path. And obviously it was really interesting, but it also created a lot of questions in me about other spiritual traditions and meditation and how to do meditation. So if you're at all interested, I would just encourage you to pick up a few books or just start with one and start reading and seeing what resonates with you. So finally, what are the benefits of all this spiritual growth and all this work? Ultimately, you'll begin to notice a much deeper sense of inner peace. You'll be less reactive to external events, and you'll feel a much greater sense of control over your own happiness. And I think this is really important, especially given the crazy times that we're living in now. And then let's talk about joy and happiness. True happiness isn't tied to anything external success or material possessions. It actually comes from within. So spiritual growth helps us to tap into that source, that endless source of happiness and joy, one that is always available to us. Remember, spiritual growth isn't just about reaching a final destination. It's very much about the journey, not always the destination. It's a lifelong journey, in fact, of expanding your awareness, evolving and deepening your joy and your happiness, and expanding your consciousness. And as you continue to grow, your life will change in ways that you never could have imagined. That's definitely true for me. Challenges will at times feel smaller, your relationships will deepen and blossom, and you'll live from a place of purpose and contentment. You'll also very likely find that external factors or stresses just don't have the same impact on you. Yes, they're still there, but you're able to still live your life without them impacting your everyday existence the way they might have before. So if you're ready to unlock that peace and happiness within, just start with some of these daily practices I mentioned, such as meditation, mindfulness, and maybe pick up a few books or start watching more videos on spirituality. You'll be amazed at how quickly your life can transform from the inside out. And I'd love to hear from you. What has your experience been like on your spiritual journey? Have you had any breakthroughs, any setbacks, or any transformative moments that you'd like to share? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos on personal growth and spirituality. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.